Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel where we focus on all things career and faith. Today, we are gonna take a little stroll down the career lane and talk about organizing your job search for success. Listen, searching for a job is a full-time job these days, hands down. And if you don't go about it in the right way, it can become so overwhelming, exhausting, disheartening, add whatever other feeling you want to add to this list, but it won't be good, okay? Some job seekers report spending as many as 40 hours a week dedicated to their job search. So I am not exaggerating when I say it is like a full-time job, y'all. And with millions of jobs opened each month, it's important that you approach your search with clarity and strategy. Okay, so the first thing I need you to do is clarify your focus. If you've been approaching your search with a "I'm just looking for anything" type mentality, immediately no. Immediately no. I just need you to back away from the computer. I know, especially for individuals who have been in the market for quite some time, it can become just, again, exhausting, and you can become discouraged and think that the "I'm just looking for anything" is the right mindset to have, because then at least you'll have a job. But I want to remind you that when you know exactly what you're looking for, I promise you it's easier to find. The whole spray and pray methodology, like, it just rarely works. And I get it. Sometimes you can fool yourself into thinking that activity is one and the same with progress, and it's not. So when you set a clear focus and you align all of your actions to that focus, you will yield your results so much faster. Speaking of the actions that you'll take, the next thing I need you to do is set actionable goals. So while you can't control things like the number of interviews that you will secure, you can control things like the number of people within your network you'll reach out to each week, the number of applications you plan to complete each week, things like that are within your control. Setting clear, actionable goals helps you to hold yourself accountable, because one thing that I know is that you ain't gonna always feel like it, right? Like, it can't be a thing where you move based on feelings, because you will not always feel like it. Work will be work. You might have things going on at home. Like, listen, you just won't always have that motivation. And so when the motivation is lacking, you need to exercise discipline against your goals. Okay, the next thing I need you to do is schedule time to apply. You need to set specific blocks that you will spend applying to roles. Like, trust me, I have a lot of feelings about the way some of these companies set up their applications. It's like, listen, why we gotta do all this? Like, why? But it takes time. And I am not talking about just doing LinkedIn, easy apply for 50 applications. No, just, again, immediately no. Just say no. Like, don't do it. But add this time to your calendar and avoid multitasking. Make it non-negotiable. Like, this is you sitting in front of your computer screen, fingers to keyboard, applying. And exactly how much time you set aside is really gonna depend on the goals that you set. The next thing that I need you to do is to use a job search tracker to keep yourself organized. You need a single source of truth. Within this, you are gonna link to all of the applications that you fill out, and you're gonna include key information like the key qualifications required for the role, the estimated salary range, and then it's going to be very key that you have a status column. So if you filled out the application, great, that's one status. If you got a call for a recruiter screening, guess what? That's another status. If you are waiting to hear back, you need to keep yourself organized so you can know where are areas where I need to follow up, where are honestly, where are areas I've already applied? Because I don't know about you, but I've definitely been in scenarios where like I'm looking through jobs and then I'm like, did I apply to this already? Or was I just thinking about applying to it? Or is this brand new? Like, you just don't know. And so it is a way to keep yourself organized, and it gives you a single source of truth. This is also golden. I love adding just key information about the role. So if you get a quick call or an email from a recruiter, you have the information available at your fingertips. So, I mean, you can make it feel like this is the only job you are applying to, even though that tracker might have about 75. It's fine. They never have to know, because you are going to treat them like they're the only one. And you do that by having, again, this source of truth that you can depend on. Last but certainly not least, I want you to celebrate the many milestones. And this one is so important for your morale. Rather than waiting until you secure your ultimate role, identify some mini milestones that you can celebrate. Some examples include completing a certain number of applications, securing your first interview. You don't have to wait until you get to that final step of I've landed the role to celebrate, because I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Like, the job search process takes time. And again, you are not always going to just feel like it. You're not always gonna be motivated. And honestly, like, again, you have to be disciplined, but I truly, wholeheartedly believe in encouraging yourself along the way. Again, celebrating the little things, because the big thing will come. Trust, it will come. But in the meantime, you don't have to be miserable the whole way through. And I think that that is where a lot of people get, because they're so discouraged by the job market. And I think another thing just to keep in mind while I'm saying this, I didn't plan to say this because I did tell y'all we were going down the career lane. But another thing that just came to mind is just ultimately remembering that God is still in control. So despite how crazy the job market may look, recognize that what is for you is for you, right? And honestly, if that really spoke to you, I want to encourage you to make sure that you are making prayer your first resort. So yes, I'm talking about organizing the job search and doing this stuff, but before even getting there, make prayer your first resort rather than your last resort, because many times we throw up these Hail Mary prayers where we're like, Lord, please just give me this role. This role is the role for me. I know it. I encourage you, I'm kind of joking, kind of not. I've been there before. It's been me. I'm speaking to me. But I encourage you to pray along the way, right? Like, daily submit your job search to God with open hands, right? Like, I think that's the other thing. Another reason why people often get discouraged along the way is because we start to grab hold of the idea of this job. Like, ooh, yes, I love this company. Ooh, yes, I love that salary. Ooh, yes, I love that this is remote, right? And we start to grab hold of them like this. And then we're honestly just praying that God blesses our plan, right? Like, Lord, please bless it. Please give me this role, rather than approaching it with the open hand, saying, Lord, I want what you want. I want where you want me to be. That is where I want to be. And if it's not where you want me to be, I absolutely don't want it. And while it's much easier to say those words out loud, right? Like, it's easy to say that. But then when that results in that rejection email hitting your inbox, like, you know, sometimes it feels a little different than you expected it to feel. Just because it's the right thing to do doesn't mean it's always gonna feel good. And so I encourage you though, like, I think, again, I did not plan to go here, but I think when you start to have that mentality shift where it is, I am approaching this with open hands, those rejection letters, being rejected always hurts. Let me just newsflash. It's never like a time where I can remember where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm so happy that happened, right? But there are times when I have context and when I'm like, hey, you know, this is what I prayed for. God obviously has something better for me, and hindsight is always 2020, right? And so like I see that now, even with where I am, like where I am in my career, there have been multiple prayers of, Lord, if this door is not from you, I want you to close it. And he has. And I mean, at the time, it was like, you know, wait, I thought I did well in that interview. I thought me and the hiring manager were vibing. I just knew that I was going to get the call to let me know, like, here's your package. And it ain't happened. And I'm so glad that it didn't now. But again, during that process, it did not feel good. Like it did not feel that way, but I did have a peace about myself that I knew that it was surrendered to God and that the best outcome was inevitable. So even though it might not look exactly how I expected it to look, I knew that the best outcome was yet to come. Okay, so now that I said all that, initially I planned to let y'all know y'all can check out my free job search tracker, which I will link to this video, but I also feel compelled to link to some journal prompts for discouraged job seekers, because I recognize for some of you, you saw this video title and you approached it as, yay, I'm excited, I'm about to start my job search, like this is right on time. I'm glad I'm getting the information for how to get myself organized. But for others of you, you clicked on this video because you've been searching to no avail. You've been filling out the applications, you've been perhaps taking some of the interviews, and honestly, you're to a point that you are just discouraged. Like you can't see the end, like there's no end in sight. And I want to invite you to spend some time reflecting. When I was in the job market, it was brutal and it was so easy to become discouraged. And so I want to share with you all just some simple journal prompts to help you move from a place of discouraged about what you can see to feeling peace about what you can't yet see. So meet me in the description to get both of those tools if you need them, right? Like maybe you are like, hey, I need the tracker to get organized and I need these journal prompts for reflection. Grab both and then share this video with a friend who might need this same encouragement. And let me know in the comments which part helped you most.